So, welcome back. It's Overwatch League. The event is over. Stage number 4, week number 5. This is the last week. This is it. So we got 2 more videos for this, and then I'll do a thing on the stage the stage playoffs, and then we'll wait a couple weeks, and then the real playoffs will start. And I'll do my predictions for those when all the matchups are set, and a couple days before. So we're getting down to the nitty gritty of Overwatch League. Season 1 is almost in the books. I think after this stage is over, I'll also do a video I'd probably do 2 separate videos because I can ramble on for a bit about both of these. But I'll do a what we learned, takeaways from stage 4, just like we did with stage number 3. And then I'm going to do a what we learned at in the entire regular season, what was crazy to me, what wasn't. I'll do who my MVP is. I'll do not best team. I'll probably do most improved throughout the season, player wise, and then maybe think of a couple others. But yeah, it's kind of hard with Overwatch to have those kind of sports awards. I guess I could go through my all stars as well, because they said it's it's per division, and then there's 2 of everything, something like that. But we'll see. Those will be coming out pretty soon. But for now, we're going to do predictions for the last week. So playoff positions got a lot more set. Last week we are very close to crowning all 6 playoff teams. Boston took care of business. They won both their matchups, which clinched them in. They're currently sitting at 3rd. London Spitfire are technically not in. They're 23-15. But even if they lose both their matchups, pretty much the lowest they're going to fall is 6th because of their map differential. So they haven't officially clinched yet, but after the first day or the second day at most, they'll have clinched. And then we have the Houston Outlaws and the Seoul Dynasty sitting at 7 and 8. They're both 2 games behind Philadelphia Gladiators and Spitfire. But like I said, Spitfire, their map differential is way better than those teams. So essentially, Outlaws and Dynasty, they need to win both of their matches, and then they need either the Gladiators or the Fusion to lose both of their matches, which is looking pretty darn unlikely. Plus, Houston has some really tough matchups. Souls play like garbage all season, or not all season, all stage. Since after stage 2, they played like garbage. Their last 2 stages have just been terrible and disgraceful, and their fall from grace is nearly complete. After this week, it will be complete. So basically, Gladiators and Philly, they just need to win 1 match to get in, or they need Outlaws and Dynasty to lose 1 of their matches. So chances for these teams are looking real good. They both went 2-0. Seoul, I really thought they were going to beat the Fusion last week. They were up 2-0, then they got reverse swept. They fell apart. They choked it out like they have all season. When they had a chance to make stage playoffs, they choked. When they had the chance to bolster their position, they choked. In every situation where they've needed a win, they have not gotten it, and that is why they're going to miss the playoffs in 95% likely. And then for the stage, the Valiant have clinched their spot in the stage playoffs. The Gladiators need to win 1 of their matches to clinch. Same thing with New York, and then it's essentially Dallas. Dallas is sitting in 4th right now. They're 5-3. Philly and Outlaws are both 5-3 as well, and they're kind of knocking on the door. So they're still in contention. And then San Fran Shock are 4-4. They'll need to win both of their matches, but they're still in contention as well. And that's pretty much it. Spitfire, they're 3-5, but their map differential is terrible. They're not going to make it. And then Uprising 2-6, no way. Seoul 2-6, no way. Florida 1-7, Shanghai 0-8. So those guys are all statistically eliminated. So it's pretty much going to be the LA teams, New York, and then the 4-way battle for the last spot. So for some teams, it's a very important week because of stage playoffs. Other teams, it's very important because of overall playoffs. and we're going to go right into the predictions, and one of the spots could be clinched in our first match. Hopefully it will be. It's the Los Angeles Gladiators taking on the Shanghai Dragons. So Gladiators are 3-0 against Shanghai. I believe they've played them all 3 stages. They've won all of their matchups with pretty much ease. Last stage, they played them without Fisher, who would be their best player on the team because he was sick, I believe, and they still won 4-0. So the Gladiators, there's no way they should lose this matchup. They're a much better team in every regard. The maps are great for them. This is their chance to clinch their spot in the stage playoffs, and more importantly, the overall playoffs. It doesn't matter what the map score is as long as they win. If they do win, they're only 1 game behind. Well, they're tied with the number 4 team in the Spitfire, and they are 1 game behind Boston. So Spitfire drops 1, and then if Gladiators get their map differential up there, and Boston happens to lose 1, as well as London, they could potentially jump to number 3. So there's a lot to play for Gladiators. They would be the higher seed, so then they would be able to pick more of the maps and give themselves an advantage. Right now, they'd be the number 5, and they'd be playing against the number 4 Spitfire. But of course, the standings could very well change in this last week. So I think Gladiators are going to take this one easily. They're playing on Kings Row, Horizon Lunar Colony, Lijiang Tower, Watchpoint Gibraltar. So I'm going to say 4-0 here. Shanghai has really not looked very good this stage at all. They had their close match against the Mayhem, but the Mayhem have looked terrible this stage as well. So there isn't a whole lot to talk about here. For Gladiators, honestly, I would kind of like to see them sub in one of their other DPS players in either Silkthread or Asher, just to throw a little bit of thoughts into enemy teams' mind, like, oh, maybe they'll run Silkthread on Sombra this stage, or maybe they'll run Asher on McCree for this one. Now, I think that Hydration and Surefour are definitely their best combination, but just planting seeds in people's heads is good. Plus, if something does happen, or if they really want them to come in, or like if Hydration or Surefour are really struggling in the playoff, maybe you bring one of them in and kind of spice it up. So, yeah, I think just getting them a little bit of playtime, because Asher hasn't played in a really long time. Silkthread was playing a bit in the beginning of this stage, but he hasn't played in like 3 weeks now. So, maybe something like that to try to put some thoughts in other teams' head. But otherwise, it's an easy win for Gladiators. I'm going to say 4-0. Match number 2, LA Valiant against San Fran Shock. So this is an interesting one. I think I've picked Shock to beat Valiant like 2 times, maybe even 3, and they've lost every time. The Valiant don't seem to be a good matchup for the Shock at all. They're playing on Kings Row, Hanamura, Lijiang Tower, and Dorado. So with this one, both these teams have been playing well this stage. Obviously, Valiant have been more consistent. They've been better. They're 8-0 as opposed to Shock's 4-4. But I think the Shock have been really good. They've been improved, and they're trying to push for that stage playoff spot. One last time, I'm going to go with the Shock. One last time, I'm going to say they beat the Valiant. They just haven't performed well against them all season, and I think that this is the time they finally will. They want to make those stage playoffs, and if they are to make these stage playoffs, they need to win this matchup. They played Excelsior pretty tough last week. They did lose, but they played them pretty tough. They've been more consistent this stage. Because in stage 3 they had their really good performances, but then they also had like really bad performances. This stage they've had their good ones, but their bad ones haven't been as bad. They've been a bit more consistent. So I think that the Shock are definitely a team that is trending upward. They're going to go ahead and get this victory. And I mean, Kings Row is a good start for them. The Shock have played well in Kings Row so far. So I don't think it would be that much of a stretch to say that they could take that first map and really set themselves up. I think they need to take that first map, though, because Hanamura is pretty weak for them. They'll probably lose that. And then we'll see going forward. I'm going to say they take it in 5. It's going to be close. The Valiant play well against everyone. They've been a super consistent team this season. So I think it's going to go down to the wire. But the Shock, I don't know. I just think they're going to want it. I think that they're finally going to flip the switch and they're going to get that win. They're going to deny. I think the Valiant aren't going to be quite as motivated for this one. So in the end, I'm going to say Shock. I don't have a whole lot of reasoning behind this one. I mean, Valiant is a stronger team. I'd say the Shock's ceiling is, I'd say, higher, but we'll have to see. I mean, Soon has been really popping off the last couple of weeks. If he comes back down to earth, I think the Valiant could be in a lot of trouble in a potential matchup in like the first round of the playoffs. But if Soon keeps playing at this level, they're going to be extremely hard to beat. But I will stick with my pick. This one could definitely be wrong, but I'll say San Fran Shock 3-2. And the final match of today, it's the Seoul Dynasty going up against the Dallas Fuel. So it's funny because Seoul is sitting there in 8th, and their record's 21-17, and Dallas is sitting in 10th, and they're 11-27. So it's like, oh man, Dynasty, they're definitely better, right? Well, I don't know. Fuel have definitely played better this stage. I mean, they're 5-3. Seoul is 2-6. They've only beat the Mayhem and the Mayhem and the Dragons. They're the only teams they beat, and they had to come back and reverse sweep the Mayhem. So, Seoul should win this match. They're better, even though, like I've said, Dallas has played better this stage. Dynasty is a better team. They should win this, but I'm tired of picking them. They consistently let me down, and I'm not even a Dynasty super fan or anything. So I can only imagine how it's felt for Dynasty fans this season to watch their team just crumble to dust. Their Dynasty was so short-lived. I mean, you talk about a team that was basically at the very lowest. People had them ranked number 3 going into the season. A lot of people had them at 2 or 1. So, coming into the season, a lot of people said, oh, it's going to be Seoul's number 1, London's a close 2, New York is going to be number 3, then Dallas is 4. Obviously, those have not worked out. New York has been far and away the best team. London had a great start, but have really fallen off. Dynasty had a good start, but have fallen off way harder than the Spitfire have. Dallas got off to a terrible start and just had 3 horrible stages before having one good one. So I'm gonna pick Dallas here. You got to prove something to me, Dynasty. Do you really want to? Do you want this? They're probably not going to make the playoff. If the Gladiators do beat the Dragons, then they'll need 2 losses from the Fusion, and they'll know that. But they still have a chance. Going into this game, they still have a chance. They're playing the 10th ranked team in the league. I don't care that they won 5 matches this stage. If you're Seoul, you got to win this matchup. Just to as a statement. If you lose this and you're done already, first day, it doesn't even matter. Philly could lose their next 2 matches and it won't matter for you. You gotta win this one. But I don't trust them to. I'm gonna say Dallas in this one. I think they win Blizzard World because Dallas will have a very strong first defense. Horizon Lunar Colony, Seoul looked bad on that. I could see Fuel taking that one as well. I think Dynasty will take Game 3, but then Fuel will close it out on Dorado. They've looked solid on Dorado. I'm going to say Fuel 3-1. And then, so if Dynasty loses that matchup, this match of Thursday, Houston Outlaws, Philadelphia Fusion, this would be it. This would be the very last matchup. Could potentially be the very last matchup that would matter to the overall playoffs because Dynasty would be eliminated. And then if Philadelphia beats Houston, then Houston will also be eliminated. Fusion and Gladiators will be locked in. It'll just be to see who can get the better seeding between the 3, 4, 5, and 6. And that would be kind of a bummer to me, honestly. I hope that it kind of goes down to the wire, except I want the Gladiators to win their first matchup, so they're in for sure. But I'll be rooting for the Outlaws in this one, because I like their team. And not that I don't have anything totally against Philly, just EQO and Carpe kind of rub me the wrong way. I don't know why. They just seem kind of cocky. I don't know. Like I said, I don't hate them or anything, but I'm rooting for Houston here just to kind of spice things up. Philadelphia has beaten Outlaws in stage 1, 2, and 3. They've won 3-2 all 3 times. So Could Houston finally flip the script and win it in 5 or win it in less than that? They could. I think this will be a very close, tight matchup, but I'm not going to pick against Philadelphia here. They're playing better. Outlaws, again, I can't trust them. I just can't trust them. If they had been able to get a couple more wins, like here and there, they'd be right there for the playoffs. But even if they beat Philly, then they would then have to beat Excelsior in their last matchup. So I think it's looking really grim for Houston. They really needed to beat Valiant last week, and they just came up short and got 4-0'd. So I'm going to go with Philadelphia here. The maps are Blizzard World, Horizon Lunar Colony, Lijiang, and then Watchpoint Gibraltar. So I'd say these maps honestly probably lean towards Outlaws. Like you got Horizon, which they've been good on, and Watchpoint. But I think Philly will probably take games 1 and 3. I think this one honestly goes to another game 5, but because of Philadelphia's superior DPS duo, they're going to win this one 3-2. For Houston, I mean, Linkster's got to pop off. If he goes nuts, then they can win this. If he does not go nuts, then they got no chance. So another huge matchup for the playoffs going on there. Now to a matchup that matters. Doesn't matter much except for like seeding purposes. You get the Florida Mayhem visiting the London Spitfire. They're playing on Kings Row, Hanamura, Oasis, and then Dorado. So London, they're gonna take this one easily. I think that they'll definitely take Kings Row. Hanamura is one that I'm actually gonna say they tie. They're gonna tie on Hanamura, and then London will take games 2 and probably 3. I could see it being 2-1 for the Spitfire, but I'm gonna predict 3-0 for London. They've been playing a lot better. Florida's just been terrible this stage. Honestly, this stage and stage 3, they've probably been the biggest disappointment to me because they had a good stage 2. Like they won some matches. I think they won 3 or 4 matches, and now they're at the point where they're barely beating the Dragons. Their coordination just seems terrible. Bringing in an awesome guy, I think, was a mistake. Honestly, Saya player is amazing, but he doesn't fit with the team at all. So I think you need to get rid of all of like the other players and build a team around Saya, or you need to like trade Saya and get like a bunch of money back or like some players back and kind of bolster the team. Personally, I would like just get rid of people except for like Saya. You could keep Awesome Guy and then give them a bunch of other Koreans, and then or at least like people that can communicate with them better, and then maybe you have a good season 2 because Saya player is amazing. He's incredible. But like on the Widowmaker, he's so good. But I mean, for all of his hero plays, they've continued to lose match after match. They've played better with Logix in the lineup because Logix is really, really good too. He's been overshadowed a little bit, and he hasn't played that much over the last couple stages. But he was playing really well in stage 2, and when they brought him in recently, he's really popped off on Widow. He was like 90% of the reason why they were able to beat Shanghai. So I think Mayhem has some problems they need to sort out. They're just a very weak team. London has looked stronger and stronger the last couple of weeks, and they will win this matchup easily. And then the final match of Thursday. It's the rematch of the Stage 3 finals, New York and Boston. Obviously, Stage 4 has gone a lot different for these guys. New York, they've lost 2 matches. Hasn't been a huge deal for them, though. They're sitting at 6-2. Boston lost their first 6 matchups before they did end up coming back and beating the Dynasty and the Dragons. That Dynasty win was huge, like I said. If they lose that, I mean, like if Dynasty doesn't choke a couple of those away, if Dynasty beats Boston and if they hold on and beat Philadelphia, I mean, Seoul's right back in the mix, and Boston's in trouble. So it's crazy. Boston was able to clutch up. I think that's the difference between a team like Boston and a team like Seoul. Boston has been able to find a way to win those close matchups, and Seoul has never been able to. So Boston's playing a lot better. I don't think they beat New York, though. New York, they'll probably continue to play like they have been. Honestly, if you want my opinion, they're kind of like sandbag, like try different strats, not really switch up the comps too much, have players on heroes that they haven't played as much. I honestly think it was a mistake. And it's because, like, getting people to try new things, that's cool. Like, putting new ideas in like, the enemy's minds is good. But I feel like in New York's case, like teams like the Gladiators could do that, teams like the Valiant could do that, teams like Spitfire, other teams going into the playoffs could do that, and it's fine. But New York, I feel like they were in everybody's head. They were 9-1 in every stage. They won the last 2-stage playoffs. It seemed like they were invincible. Then all of a sudden, they're not playing quite as hard, and they lose to both of the LA teams. And now, especially the LA teams, but the other top tier teams, they're all thinking, we can beat them. They're not unbeatable. I think New York should have I think they should have honestly ramped it up towards the end of the season. They should have crushed those teams that are competing, like the 2 LA teams. They should have crushed them, gone 10-0 this stage, and going into the playoffs, all the other teams are thinking, well, we can still get second. We could make the finals and get second. But now, I guarantee you the Gladiators and the Valiant are thinking, we can win this. We can win Overwatch League Season 1. Like, sure, New York is like the best team still, but they're not unbeatable. And because New York kind of toned down their aggression a little bit, and they tried some stuff that they knew wasn't going to be as effective, they have put themselves in a compromising position now, I think. Are they still the favorites? Yes. Do I think they'll still win? Yes. But was that a mistake to kind of tone it down? I think it was, but we'll have to see. That doesn't matter for this matchup, though. I think New York wins this one relatively easily. I'll say 3-1. Give Boston a map. Like I said, they've been playing better. But it will be New York getting their 34th win of the season and pretty much clinching their spot in the stage playoff. And then, so yeah, that's it for Wednesday and Thursday. Almost went on to the Friday game, but nope. We will save that for 2 days. That matchup will be an interesting one, depending on what happens tomorrow. So yeah, it's make or break time for Houston and Dynasty. They need these wins. They also need some help from Philadelphia and LA. Well, they need help from the Dragons. They need the Dragons to beat Gladiators for their first win of the season. It's possible. I think it's very, very unlikely. I think Gladiators will take care of them. So this is about it. We're coming down to the wire. I'm a little bummed that Dynasty and Outlaws lost those matchups last week, because now it's a lot less interesting going into this last week. But there's still a lot to play for here. Teams are jockeying for their positions around. Shanghai's still looking for that first win. People trying to get a higher seed so they're in better shape for the playoffs. More exciting Overwatch to come. Hope you guys have a great couple days, and I'll see you guys on Friday.